We all have our own behind-the-wheel persona. Are you a windows down, sing-along to your favorite song, seat lean back kind of driver? Or perhaps an AC blasting, podcast on, hugging the wheel kind of driver? However you move through life, Atlantic Union Bank is on board because we agree things should be done your way, especially banking. Work with someone you trust who's there when you need them for all the ways you bank. Call, schedule a video appointment, or make a pit stop at an Atlantic Union Bank branch to learn more. Atlantic Union Bank. Any way you bank.
Welcome to Pennsylvania in Focus. I'm Kristen Smith. Legislators pushing a bipartisan bill to legalize recreational marijuana warn that without action, neighboring states will supply the drug and carry away the tax revenue along with it. Joining me today is the Center Square's Pennsylvania reporter, Anthony Hennin. Anthony, this is not the first legalization bill that we've seen in recent history or even in the last couple of months. So start by talking about what's in this bill and what makes it different.
Yeah, there's been a handful of different ones. It seems like every legislator has a pet project on how he or she would like to legalize marijuana in the Commonwealth. This one is a bit of a doozy. You pull this one up and there's about 220 pages. It hasn't yet been given a number, but Representatives Aaron Kaufer out of R-Luzerne and Emily Kinkead out of Bellevue near Pittsburgh, they've released the language of the bill and a legislative memo. And they're really pushing this basically to make sure that they can make sure Pennsylvania is capturing tax revenue and also getting some criminal justice reforms within it. As Kaufer said, our goal is to get this done as soon as possible. We are circling the toilet bowl and getting something like this done. So they're both arguing that this would create, in the appropriately estimated, $420 million of tax revenue and more than 33,000 jobs if Pennsylvania actually goes through with adult use marijuana. So when we're looking the border states, only West Virginia has not legalized adult use marijuana. So there's a concern that Pennsylvanians can just leave the state, pick up some weed, that money flows out of the state, and Pennsylvania's just left holding the bag. And so this bill tries to set up some guardrails and oversight to eliminate the illegal market and make sure more people flow into the legal market. It would automatically expunge nonviolent marijuana criminal convictions. It would also offer priority licenses to marijuana businesses tied to equity components. So, people who have formerly been arrested or, been through the criminal justice system as a result of using marijuana would kind of have priority there. It would also fund public defenders. There's a lot happening in this bill, as you would expect from a 220-pager. Kinkead argued that states are taking advantage of the fact that we have not legalized cannabis and Pennsylvania dollars are there to be spent on adult use, and we should be taking more action to bring it into Pennsylvania.
So, as you mentioned, 222 pages, and there's some rather sarcastic comments from the sponsors on this. They want this done quickly. What's the rush? I mean, when they say done quickly, what do they mean?
I mean, Governor Shapiro, actually, I guess in his last year's budget proposal, hadn't factored in potential revenue from adult use marijuana sales. And he's doing the same this year as well. So the idea here, if you can get the support of Shapiro, if you can get the support of enough Republicans, get it through and get this up and running as quick as possible. Ohio, in a voter referendum, legalized adult use last year, and that's ramping up. So I think it's really... This discussion has gone on for years, and I think legislators are really just trying to get it across sooner rather than later to boost revenue coming in. Whether that will happen, it's not quite clear. And we still have a number of Pennsylvania Republicans who are opposing it and wanting to slow it down.
You mentioned Republicans opposing it and wanting to slow it down, but what's interesting is this is a House bill where Democrats hold the lead, narrow lead. And the Senate's there's already been bipartisan legislation in the Senate, although different, to legalize marijuana. But it seems like the support here for this, something like this, is that actually legalizing adult use would make it safer for everybody. Because why? Why is that?
Yeah, that's the argument is basically if you legalize it, you can regulate it. There's accountability in that system where you can test it to make sure there's no, foreign chemicals or anything like that. If there's anything happens, you can trace it back to who's selling it. This is a broader argument that people make against the war on drugs. There's also the argument coming from some district attorneys that keeping it legal when it's so widely accepted among the public weakens respect for the law. That was Michael O'Donnell's argument, who is the district attorney up in Northumberland County. And he's concerned that the more things like this, where the public doesn't mind breaking the law, it becomes this broader norm that it's acceptable to do something illegal. And so that's another concern of still keeping it out of the legal market.
Anthony, thanks for joining us today. Listeners can keep up with this story and more at thecentersquare.com.